As we reported, there has been collective condemnation of North Korea's recent ballistic missile launches. This has been the case all year as the regime embarked on an unprecedented number of launches and provocations in 2022. But so far, Pyongyang does not seem to be bothered much by the opposition of the international community. So in what direction are things likely to go on the peninsula? We have Mark Berry, Associate Editor Emeritus, International Journal on World Peace with us this morning. Well, good evening to you as you are in New York.
Yes, and good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always good to see you. And first of all, North Korea has really stepped up provocations in 2022 with a number of missile launches not seen before. What's the reason behind the escalation?
Escalation. And also they're hemmed in because the new Xi Jinping in his third term has signaled to the North not to conduct a seventh nuclear test without serious consequences. So what they've done is they've ramped up the numbers with a little bit of an improvement in capabilities. And I think they put the exclamation point on it the other day when Kim appeared at the test site with his oldest daughter, who we had never seen before. And I think that's his way of saying this is the family investment and enterprise, and we're here to stay. And I'm not necessarily sure we're going to see that many more tests. I think he's made his point.
Right. He's certainly made his point so far. Experts say that now North Korea has all of the U.S. within reach of its missiles. Isn't this crossing the line previously set by Washington?
Well, the red line that was set was after President Trump and Chairman Kim decided to shelve joint military exercises, and it was understood that the North would not conduct any more intermediate or longer range missile tests as well as nuclear tests. So I would say that they kind of crossed that 2018 red line when they began to test intermediate range or IRBM missiles. But basically, you know, of course they do have to test to a certain extent, but I think they had no issue in crossing this line when they saw that the U.S. and South Korea were resuming various joint exercises, particularly this year. So this year has made all the difference, and particularly because there's been a complete lack of dialogue and meaningful communication between the two sides.
Right, and as I mentioned before, at this point, what can South Korea and U.S. do to pressure the North to halt missile tests and a possible nuclear test? It does not seem like current methods are working.
No, and I'd rather not even get into the discussion of, you know, should it be recognized, the North, as a nuclear state and all that. I think we're missing the forest for the trees. We should remember that it was Kim Jong-un's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, who signed the 1953 Korean War armistice, along with China's General Peng and U.S. General Mark Clark. So the armistice remains in effect. The belligerents are still in a technical state of war. And so serious regional instability continues to exist. And North Korea knows that their founder himself signed the armistice, which means their supreme leader has affixed his signature to it. Now, next year, 2023, marks the 70th anniversary of the signing of the armistice. And I think President Biden and President Yoon should ask or invite President Xi and Chairman Kim to join them to begin a Camp David-style negotiation process to end the state of war on the Korean Peninsula once and for all. And as part of a final settlement, the North's nuclear and missile programs should be negotiated as an arms control component to the larger political agreement. And these likely months-long negotiations could be held at a U.S. military facility in Hawaii rather than Camp David outside of Washington, and the final agreement can be signed by the leaders in person. So given President Xi's, I think, successful and meaningful meetings this past week in Asia with Presidents Biden and Yoon and with Prime Minister Kishida, there's now a basis to move forward. And I look forward to that kind of improvement in 2023.
Well, we look forward to things to get better, of course. Well, thank you so much for your insights. And I hope you have a great evening, Professor.
Okay, thank you so much.